Okay. I did a couple of rows of knitting and purling. There's some strands that I've got to hide later. But as you can see, now that it's down a little further, you can kind of see how you can kind of push these things out a little bit. And therefore, now you have your nice little kind of ridge of bumps that will stick out. Now, I'll show you how to cast this off. Obviously, it's not long enough for a hat, but in case you don't know how to cast off a hat, if you're really new to loom knitting, I'll show you how I do it. There's different methods out there. But what we're going to do is you're going to cut yourself a little bit of tail off of this. Just get some really good scissors. Now you can use 1 or 2 strands, but since I use 2 strands throughout this part of the project, then it's usually better to use 2 strands to cast it off. So give yourself plenty of string, and then you're going to cut it off. So you have a nice long strand. You get yourself one of the little plastic needles that usually comes with the loom knitting kit. You're going to thread that. There is another method to do this that I saw online. It worked sometimes for me, but that didn't work other times, so I just went back to using this method because this is my tried and true method to get a hat off. So you're going to thread the needle, give yourself probably 4 or 5 inches, or actually more than 4 or 5 inches, just a decent length on one side. Now what I usually do is I pick this up, and I kind of wrap the tail that we already have around there a little bit, and I hold it in place, and then I take the shorter end of this, and I kind of hold that with those strands. You're going to use them to tie it off, so just kind of hold those two together, and then take your needle, that's twisted now, and you're going to go basically, see, through the peg. Whoops. I'm not very good at this video thing. Okay. Try this again, find the strand that's the shortest one. Okay. So you're going to go up through the peg and pull the rest of your extra yarn through. So pull all that extra yarn out. And once you got all the extra yarn out, it should look like this, and then all you're going to do is take that peg off the loop. So you're going to excuse me, thread through, pull it through. Why it's fighting so much, probably because it's 2 strands. It's a little tough when you have 2 strands on the needle, and I have a lot of string left over because I always tell myself I'd rather have too much string on it to take it off than not enough. So you're just going to work your way around doing that, and it does go pretty quickly once you get more practice with it. And again, as you go around, you're taking the loops off as you thread the needle through. And usually once you do a few, it kind of, these strands will kind of lock in place anyway. But just keep an eye on them, because I have had it happen where I accidentally pulled them through. That's all you're going to do to bind off, or to cast off the hat. Like I said, there is another method, but this is just, I call it my tried and true method to get it off the hat, or to get it off the loom. And then after this step, it's just simply adding the pom-pom, and then your hat, cupcake hat or ice cream hat or whatever you want to call a hat, will be complete. Because after you do all this, usually it's a lot faster for me, but I guess I'm just having issues tonight. Okay. So like I said, I'm just threading it through, trying not to pull the strand from in there, so go, almost done. And with any technique that you work on a loom, eventually you'll get faster at it, or you may get slower. Like, I probably don't go at the fastest of pace. I usually take my time doing the stuff if I can. Unless it's something like a simple hat where I can really work fast on it because I'm not changing up the stitch, I'm not doing any elaborate thing to it. So as I've said before, never pace yourself by others. Pace yourself by what you can do. And believe me, there's a lot of different things you can do out there if, don't ever feel like you have to do what everybody else is doing. I mean, like I said, I'm going to try this little technique with the sticky out things on a hat. That's different. Maybe doing more of them through a hat and see how they look and everything. So I'm going to pause for a minute and I'm going to finish taking them off the rest of the loom, and then I'll come back and show you the next. Okay, I'm working on the last couple stitches to pull through with the yarn in order to get this head off. Now for the sake of this video, I already made the pom-pom that's going to go on here, but I will do a video later on how I did it. My daughter picked out the color, so I was going to make it a different color. She's like, no, green. So that's what I did it as. Okay, so you got the last stitch coming off the peg. Okay, pull your yarn through. Okay, and now if you want, you can pretty much cut the excess string you got going on. You're not going to need that anymore. And it will come off the loop. Now what you do is you turn it, usually you turn it inside out. That's how I usually do it. Then you take these strings that you had bunched up and you're just going to pull them so that it kind of closes off the hat, which may not work so well on this one because, like I said, this is a smaller hat. So you're just pulling them tight. I mean, sometimes you'll get a really tight hole, other times you won't. So pretty much you can, the pom-pom will help hide that too. You pretty much go until you can get that hole, excuse me, as small as you can, and then you tie a knot in it when you're all done. So it's basically as small as you can get it, which, like I said, in this one, because I didn't go around it many times, the hole's still going to be there for some of it, unless I can tie it really tight with this knot. But like I said, you can hide it with the pom-pom. I usually tie it, like, knot it twice at least, so you got your little knot in between, and then cut the excess off. You don't have to get really close to the hat, especially with soft yarn. I mean, I usually leave, little tails. Then you turn it back. It looks so weird because it's not the right length. Then you turn it back around. And again, obviously, when you turn it back around, it's going to look like this. So we got our little, I don't even know what this can be called. So now you got this part done. You're like, okay, how do I add the pom-pom? I will show you how to make a pom-pom in another video. One of the things I do when I make the pom-pom is, you'll see a part where I actually end up leaving the string on. The reason I do that is so that I can work it through. And then, like I said, that hole that you have, just stick your crochet hook through there and bring both strands of your pom-pom through that hoop. Okay, and that way, as you see, it hides that. And then on this side, what you can do is I usually take my hook and I'll grab like a stitch next to it. Just bring it underneath some little piece and only grab one strand of the pom-pom and pull it through that. Oops, I do that again. Okay. Pull that through that stitch that's beside it if it will cooperate. Okay. So you pull that through. Okay, so you have it like that. And then you're going to do that the same on the other side. And this way, they're each kind of hidden by a strand, and then just tie those strands together. And again, I usually tie at least twice to make sure it's secure. And then cut off your excess. And there's your pom-pom on it. Now, and of course, like I said, any extra ones you can try hiding in there. In your work if you can. Sometimes what I do, like with the starter strands, I put a little knot in it first, just to make sure it doesn't like do anything weird. And then I can just cut the strand off. Okay. So now we have this little hat. So, obviously figure with your hat. So maybe this is a muffin top hat, but actually it's kind of cute. I mean, it's not really able to be a hat. I mean, it's a little, like a little beanie, I guess. It's a little beanie hat, I guess. But it's cute. But this gives you the idea of how to make this hat. So I hope you enjoyed it. And again, I will have videos coming up about how to make the bag in the back, or any bag for that matter, and how to do a pom-pom maker. So have a good night, everyone. Or day, whenever you're watching.